Was there a particular point where you knew you wanted to do this, or did your dad just kind of say, let's get you going"?
So my dad never really approached me with the whole, "Hey son, I want you to be a wrestler." Like I have a younger sister, and she really didn't get into wrestling. Period. It was always like me sitting in front of the TV on the floor, my dad sitting in his like recliner and always watching like every single episode of like Raw or SmackDown or whatever it was at that point in time. After like being a little kid, man, and being babysit by like all of these like guys that are now like Hall of Famers,
Hmm.
it never really clicks because you're so young. You're just like, okay, this is what I'm around.
Taking
This
it
is
all in.
yeah, and like it just becomes a normal life for me. And then I loved wrestling, but my heart was in motocross. Like he bought me a motocross bike when I was like 10, 11, and I ended up like on my wall behind me right here. Like I got my amateur national qualifiers for Loretta Lynn, Ponca, and all that good stuff. Like I was
Wow.
really, really good. And really wasn't until about 2012, 2013 till I decided, you know, like I really want to wrestle. I want to carry the family's legacy because my sister showed no interest in it. I always had a heart in wrestling. Always was around it. Always wanted to go to the venues. Always wanted to see the shows. Always heard the crazy stories that I didn't remember as a little kid when he took me to these like locker rooms when I was being babysat. Because I only have like a handful of the memories of like when I was out there and actually being able to see like Hulk Hogan and like Slaughter and some of them that are dead to this day that I don't really have very much like memory left because I guess I took too many bumps or chair shots to the head. But like it all adds up, and like it's a very humbling experience with it. But it wasn't until about 2012 or 2013 till I decided like, hey, I need to figure this out. Like I want to do this. Like I love motocross. Like it's paying off at this time. I'm making money doing like pro money class or A class back in the days, what they called it. And then he was like, "Go get yourself a ring, truck, and trailer. I'll train you." And then I was like, "All right, say enough. Like, say less." So, a little bit more time comes down the road. Now we're looking at around the 2013-ish area. And I get trained. He trains me every day, nonstop. I learned the business and I'm ready for my first match in 2.5 months, which is
Oh,
crazy fast, crazy fast. Like the average for people is 6 months to a year. I learned it in 2.5 months. And I thought there was something wrong with me because like hearing everybody else like, oh, 6 months or a year, da 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 da. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm only did 2.5 and I'm ready. I was like, did I pick this up that quickly or is there something somebody's not telling me? So after my old man trains me, I seek more training. It was Rocky Johnson in Steele, Missouri. Met him at a cell barn. Good friends with my dad. So the soul man, like, walks up to the cell barn. He pulls up in his Escalade. Me and my old man are sitting out front. My old man smoking a cigarette. And then when he pulls in, he's like, "Oh, look, it's the pimp at the cell barn." And like, we're joking, you know what I mean? Like, just ribbing it. And then sure enough, Rocky gets out and he goes, "I think that's Rocky Johnson." And I'm like, "No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Lying. No, it ain't." And then he's like, "Yeah, that's Rocky Johnson." I was like, "Oh yeah, well then go up there and say hi to your friend then if that's Rocky Johnson." And like at this point, I don't believe him. I'm just being, a brat. And sure enough, he walks up there, and next thing you know, I see Rocky, my old man, embrace and a hug. And I'm like, I'll be damned if he's telling the truth. And then he walks up and he introduces me to Rocky for the first time. Rocky glances me with that like little cold stare, like up and down for a minute when he approaches him with the whole training and all of that, lets him know like what he's done with me and all of this. And then here we go, about 30 minutes in a conversation, and about $4,500 later, I'm going to Rocky Johnson's farm or his ranch, and I'm going into his barn, and then here we go, like training and doing promos and everything else on top of that. So I never stopped training because I feel like in this business, you never learn enough, and you will learn all the way until the day you get out or you die. So then I had Rocky Johnson and my dad, Tony Parks. I had them on my resume. And then that's my first year mark. I jump in. I'm in Florida at this time, so I jump into APW, XW 2000, SCW, and started like hopping into these like little indie promotions. And off to the races from there.
Yeah, definitely a rising star. And Rocky Johnson was just one of the most talented professional wrestlers to come out of the territory days, really made a name for himself in the early stages of the WWE as one half of the tag team champions. And of course, his son, one of the most, literally, seriously, the most electrifying man in all of entertainment. I mean, The Rock, one of the most iconic figures in pop culture, and it's amazing how well he's done. And the fact that Rocky Johnson literally paved the way for his son, and just like your dad, along with Rocky, paved the way for you to become the star that you are. It's so cool, so fascinating.
Another part of is fascinating to me is like if anybody knows Rocky Johnson's history as far as training goes, um, I'm one of the very few Samoans that Rocky trained, like that wasn't Samoan. So
Mm,
being able to like have that on my background and how much that he emphasized on the entertainment aspect, as you just said, anybody who watches my film or my work, whether I'm a good guy or a bad guy, um, I stress the entertainment aspect of it like very, very hardcore. So like in my matches, you'll see like I'm all about the entertainment. I'm all about giving the value to your dollar because like without the fans, like they're the ones that pay to like see it. They're the ones that like keep us alive. They're the reason why we get to do what we do. And that's why
exactly. Yeah.
times, like putting a red light in my face. Cut this promo. This is the angle that I want. Like, he just sat there over and over. I don't know how many times I had to sit there in that barn for hours at a time and like, go over and rehearse, go over and rehearse, and that's one thing that I bring to the ring that I'm very like confident and proud of is my entertainment aspect in this business.